Memories for me are not just an image, a visual of sorts. It's a feeling in my body, a sensation. Oh my God, as soon as I think of that, it just puts me in that. Like the thought of being in the home that I bought with my ex-husband and just being in that environment, and I can even smell it, and it feels my body up. I watch the countdown as it's going on this thing before I start recording, and I look at it and I look at myself in the screen, and then I remember that connection happens a lot more with anybody that's watching if I look at my camera instead of at my own face. So now I can just about see with the periphery under here of my eyes that I'm doing all this movement down here, but I'm looking at the camera. And this very moment, I feel like I can connect with whoever's watching, because it's not just looking at the camera. I know time is not linear, and I know whenever I'm gonna watch this back, I'm gonna feel what I'm feeling right now, because I feel, oh my God, I don't know what's happening right now. I feel, wow, I feel like my vision is completely weird. I've just had a moment of awareness of recognizing what today means. It doesn't mean much, by the way. It just means that 16 years ago, on the day, I kept thinking all day today, why does the 18th of October feel so familiar? What is it about it that 18th, I kept thinking that. And I know why, because 16 years ago was the day when I flew to the UK. 16 years ago on the day. My mind cannot comprehend sometimes. What does that even mean? There's people in the world that were born 16 years ago. And then, of course, I remember that on the same date in 2011, me and my now ex-husband bought our first house. And I remember that on that day in particular, we had the keys for the house. And we went to move all our stuff in there. And I thought, what the fuck are we doing? Because the house was a really old house that needed a lot of work, and I had that feeling of, I really don't want to do this. What have I gotten myself into? What am I doing here? Why? And I hear myself say this, and I hear the repeating stories that I tell of this unknown, because that's all there is. I was just jumping into the unknown, and every time I jump into the unknown, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I went on this spiral of, what does 38 even mean? 38 is my age right now. I am gonna be 39 in February next year. Now it's October. I just said it's the 18th of October. I am going to be 39. What does that mean? What does that mean? That doesn't make sense in my brain right now. It does not make sense. I don't understand it. I can't comprehend it. It doesn't make sense. And of course, this coincides a little bit with me starting to watch this program about channeling on Gaia. And Bashar is one of the people that is being interviewed. And as soon as because I started mine this way, what the heck? As soon as he does this and his hands go and he closes his eyes and he does his little thing, and Bashar comes in. Well, Daryl Anka. And then Bashar comes in. And then I had a whoa. And then listening to the other two people that were talking on there, like the intro. I just watched the intro of this thing. And I had all of them. Those sensations, because I know there are times when we all do that, not as strongly or as obvious. And by saying this now, I totally believe that this is what's happening to me right now, because I'm not trying to think of what I'm saying. I am not thinking of my next words or my next thoughts or where am I guiding this, where am I taking this. It's just coming out of my mouth, speaking. There's this whole thing of memories, but not just memories for me are not just an image, a visual of sorts. It's a feeling in my body, a sensation. Oh my God, as soon as I think of that, it just puts me in that. Like the thought of being in the home that I bought with my ex-husband and just being in that environment, and I can even smell it, and it feels my body up with that energy. And every time I go through sensation. And this is what's been happening lately. Lately, as in maybe for the past fucking year, maybe not as much in the first few months of the beginning of this year. But then come maybe March, April, everything feels so weird. It's like memories in my body, images, feelings, sensations, ideas. I could be going through all of them, through all of the freaking spectrum of emotions from one moment in the day to another. And it can all happen in one fraction of a second, or it can happen spread out throughout the day. It's not your normal, oh, I get up and I feel this way, and that stays all day. Or, oh, I get up and I feel this way, and that stays all day. No, I could be waking up at one end of the stick and going to sleep at the other end of the stick. Or I could just have little bits of ups and downs throughout the day, but I'm feeling all of it. All of them is like I'm feeling all timelines and all parallel realities that are happening at the same time. Going into the past and into the future at the same time, and understanding it somehow in my body, in my physical reality, in my awareness, in my wholeness, in my bigness, and all of me. I had this big insight yesterday after being on a podcast. I recorded a podcast with an amazing woman, and she reminded me, just by her light, just by the way that she reminded me of my bigness. And I remember before I started recording that podcast, I was thinking, I feel so small, I feel like, meh, meh, meh. And I have made one of these on the same day, before and after. No, this is with another lady, but before and after another recording, I've done this thing about feeling that I'm small and how I'm keeping myself small, and all of that story that I carry with me, because I obviously have some payoff out of it. Because if I'm small, then I'm not big. And then I don't need to do other things, and I don't need to step into that greatness. So at the same time, I had this insight of, I can just be big. And then I thought, how do I bring that into here? How do I just allow myself to be that bigness without thinking that I'm small all the time, without going into the story of it? And I was just recording a message to my person about how do I just keep my awareness into that? Because maybe I don't go through the whole, I am big, I am small, or I feel this and I feel that, I feel sad, I feel fear, worry, all of those things. I might just go through a sort of a flat line of emotions sometimes throughout the day. So then I'm thinking, in those moments, can I just be aware and be big? What does big mean? In the words of my friend, I see myself as this. I see myself and my energy as this size. Am I going to make any hearts? I wonder if this is going to work on here. No. So I see myself as the small ball of energy, when in fact I am like this. And at the time when she told me this, we were in a Joe Dispenza retreat in the dining area that's like a football stadium size. And she told me, you think you're this, you see yourself as this, when you're actually this room. And then, of course, my little smallness was like, how do I be that big? And how do you see this? And what do I do? What can I change? How can I be? What steps do I need to take? All of that part. What do I need to do to see myself as the bigness? And I think only now I'm starting to understand it, to recognize it. There's a mosquito flying. You're gonna get slapped, man. Anyway, so only now I feel like I'm starting to understand it, to literally feel. I just need to be aware of that energy instead of allowing myself, instead of feeding the old. And I have heard this so many times, stop feeding the old stories. But only recently, I've heard it in another way. Instead of stop feeding the old, I've heard it as starve the old stories, the old patterns, the old programs, whatever. Do not give it any energy. So instead of saying stop feeding into it, starve it. And I don't know, it just clicked somehow other in my brain. And ever since then, I mean, I've had plenty of occasions, of course, to put that into practice. Because this is how beautiful the universe is. Oh, you want to work on something? I'll give you the opportunity to work on it. Oh, you want to have more courage? No, God doesn't give you courage. It just gives you opportunities to be brave. So same with me. I want to have this opportunity, not necessarily the opportunity, but the awareness to embody the bigness that I am, right? How do I do that? Well, here, have an example here. Have this situation presenting in your life. How do you deal with it? Do you allow yourself to go into the story and feed into that, or stop it, cut it? Wowzer. I don't know what just happened here. I've just looked at the timer. It's been 10 minutes or something since I've started this. Impressive. I think that's all I had for now. I seem to remember this only when I record things for myself, like this, like a Dear Diary kind of a thing. When I record with another person, when I'm doing the podcast thing, I don't seem to remember to say, please like, subscribe, and whatever. Apparently that helps this algorithm. Why am I worried about an algorithm? Because this is the other part of me that's thinking, why am I doing this? Am I doing this for the views, for the likes, for the comments, for the people? Or am I doing it because... Why am I doing it? I'd rather answer that way. I'm doing it because it feels great. It feels fun. It feels liberating. It feels flowy for me to do this. And I love talking. As much as I love listening, I also love talking. So I might as well just put it out somehow. Because who knows? Who knows who's watching? Maybe you're watching, maybe you got to this point and you're thinking, oh my fucking God, I resonate. Maybe you've had goosebumps throughout this whole thing. That's what happens with me. When I watch or listen to something that resonates deep within my body, I have all those that I had earlier of just goosebumps throughout my body and just the energy just moving in me. And I'm like, I know this is truth for myself, because same, I had a little bit of a conversation with my person about something that Bashar had said, and I just fucking resonated with it so much. And he's like, yeah, but I'm the skeptic somewhat. And what if it's not? Maybe it's just something that you hear and blah, whatever. I don't know. I don't know exactly how to put it, but I can see that too. I can be the skeptic too. And once it feels my body up with goosebumps and a deeper knowing somewhere and an understanding on another kind of cellular level, then I feel it as my truth. Because there's many people and many other things that I've heard, read, listened to, came across that I've been like in one ear out the other because it doesn't resonate with me. So then I'm thinking, whoever's watching this, you could be one of them people that, I don't know what this woman is talking about here. I don't understand a thing. She's just talking out of her ass. Or maybe you're like, oh my God, I understand how you feel. Isn't it great? This is why I'm doing this, see? Because I know that this is how it was for me. I heard somebody else talk about things and I resonated and it gave me goosebumps and it helped, it aided my growth, my expansion, my understanding of the world, of reality, of non-reality, of all of it. It just aided that. So why wouldn't I do this? This is why I'm doing this. Not for the fucking algorithm of the YouTube. Of like this, please, and comment and whatever. So even if it is 20 likes, not likes, views. If it's one view, if it's no view, does it matter? The energy is out. The energy is out into the world. And somebody's going to pick up on it because once it's out, it's out. Somebody else is going to benefit from it. This is the only way in which we're all aiding the world, by the way, by being ourselves, by being the light that we are, by doing the work on ourselves. And I know there's that part of me that's still, when you get to the point of this is so good, I want everybody else to know about it. There's a part of that in here too. Why wouldn't I share this? Why wouldn't I share all this magic and all this madness that I'm experiencing right now while I'm looking at that tiny camera at the top of my laptop screen with my laptop on my lap? Because this seems to be the moment in the evening when I just get those moments. I take a shower and I'm just chill and I'm in my pajamas and I sit down here and then I'm like, oh. And all the thoughts come in and all the insights and all the wowzer. And then this is like a diary for me. This is like I'm gonna go look back on this and love onto myself and be so grateful for this. I'm gonna be so grateful. I'm already so grateful because I can feel the energy of me from the future now, looking at this and being like, oh my God, I remember recording this and I was so in it, and wow, how much I've changed since then. And that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna look back at this and be like, maybe a bit cringe, but fuck me, I love her. You know? that. So if there's any other message in here is, do you, boo? Whatever that you means. Holy moly, I fucking hated anybody telling me that before. Because I'm like, what do you mean? If I be me, I wouldn't have any money, I wouldn't have anywhere to live, I would be on the streets. That was my story, and it still pops up. Still, the head of that still pops up sometimes. Yet, I remind myself that I don't need to feed it. I can starve it. Don't give it attention. Look away. Do something else that you enjoy. I don't know. I don't know. That's it. I am done with this. I am sending all my love to anybody that's watching. Here it is, out of my heart, expanding and growing, and take it or leave it. And thank you very much for watching and for doing the work on yourself, wherever you are into the world. Because I don't know who's gonna see this. Maybe it's gonna be nobody, just me, when I'm edited. Because I burped a few times as I was recording this, so probably gonna get those out. Oh my god, I keep saying I'm gonna end this and I don't. Goodbye. That is